Hey everybody, it is Libby with Fearlessness. What's fearlessness? It's the underlying grit that empowers us to forge ahead, even when hope seems distant. It's the courage to walk through those fires of hell, knowing that we're not just going to come out better on the other side, but stronger. Stay tuned and learn how to get fearlessness. Again, I'm your host, Libby DeLucian. And Kristen, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey everyone, I'm Kristen Prejean. I'm the owner and founder of Cleaning by Design in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I've been doing this for about 4 years, and honestly, it was a major shift for me. I went to school for interior design, had a completely different plan for my life, but this fell into my lap, and it's been life-changing, and I'm so excited to share my story with you and your guests, and I hope that they'll be able to take away something beneficial from it.
Awesome. Question: what made you go from an interior designer to owning a cleaning company?
Honestly, I had to step out in faith on this one. It's not something that I particularly wanted to do initially. However, felt that in that time frame where I was at in my life that, God was really nudging me to do something different. I have a bachelor's degree in interior design. I was working my dream job at an architectural firm, drawing construction documents. How exciting. It was amazing. And we had a couple of hurricanes come through our city, and it changed a lot for our city. So, in that time, I was sitting in our rundown apartment that had just been destroyed from a hurricane, and I really had to sit with myself and ask, what is it that you want to do with the rest of your life? Is it this? Are you happy here? And if not, what can you do to make a difference? And I really wanted to push for community at that point in my life. So I thought that I could make a bigger impact in my community if I branched out, started this cleaning company. And honestly, it's been a really, really big blessing in our life.
I love that story. I'm in South Florida, so hurricanes are very familiar to me. We're still, I was talking to my husband the other day. We're still trying to get over Ian as far as like the loss in revenue, the loss in customers. It's been a slow, agonizing struggle for us to get over the hurricane. But you mentioned something that I want potential business owners to listen to, or even current business owners to hear. And it was that you wanted to make a bigger impact. You wanted to get involved with a community. And I think that sometimes people think that cleaning is such like a low, like, it's looked down upon in our industry. You're a cleaning lady? Oh, like you own a cleaning company?
Absolutely. That's something that I wrestled with. I didn't want to start a cleaning company because of that stigma. I had a hard time at first diving into it, but it's more than that. I tell myself all the time, it's more than just cleaning. It's not just cleaning that we do.
I love that, because you're right. It is hard to wrestle with. I started, I had prior businesses, but had my organizing business, and so many of our customers wanted a reliable cleaning service, so they started asking us for it, and we didn't do it. And when I was going to open or add the cleaning division, I thought, oh, this is going to be so easy. I'm going to make all this money and I'm not going to have to do anything. That was like not true. So I love the fact that like you did this and you knew like, hey, society has this preconceived like stigma around cleaning, but I don't care because I want to do it anyways. Yeah. I remember when I first started, I joined a B&I group, and as the cleaner of the group, and I purposely showed up every day in a suit and heels to break that stigma.
Nice.
And to also let them know I was not the one cleaning your house, even though I was at the beginning.
Right.
Yes. So I love that story. Transitioning from your prior job and occupation, now I know why like your background's so nice and symmetrical, and it's your interior design coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, I'm going to shove this into this company any which way I can.
Yeah. And so when we start over, we're not starting over, we're starting from experience.
Absolutely.
So it reflects in your social media and in your company and in your brand and the way it feels. You can see that like interior design or decorator background coming through on certain things.
Yeah, that's awesome that you recognize that.
So do you think that helps set you apart when it comes to competitors?
I feel like we have a different type of clientele, as opposed to what our competitors have. I think that it does set us apart, honestly. We have that difference, that different thing about us. That's, kind of, yeah, it's just pretty. I guess
It's
I don't know.
okay. Let's talk about hiring and recruiting. Do you think it helps you attract a different type of employee?
I want to say yes. I feel like our face and what we put out to the community is what we get back. I really feel like I do have a different thing going for me. I don't think that I relate to anybody in the
That's
cleaning industry
awesome.
in my city.
Yeah, our brand, Organize It, is completely different. Like, even our pictures, this is going to sound funny, but if you look at our pictures on social media, they're black and white. The pictures of our cleaners and when they're cleaning. And the reason we did this is because if different people were taking the pictures, we couldn't get the same consistency in all of the photographs.
That's
And
smart.
so what we did was we made them black and white because no matter if it was taken with an iPhone or an Android or a high def camera, the black and white aperture, I think they call it, is what helped us create a very consistent look to all of our social media and our website.
Yeah,
Because even
absolutely.
my pictures on my website are black and white.
I didn't know. I realized.
This is William Tincup, and I'd like to direct you to a wonderful limited series podcast that Ryan and I recorded live at the ERE Recruiting Innovation Summit. We sat down with 20 recruiting and TA leaders from around the world to hear what today's best recruiters are doing to stay sharp, stay relevant, and stay ahead. It's called The Talent Shift. You'll love it. You'll find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Listen, like, review, share. Do you?
That now that you mentioned it, but yeah, it's all very streamlined and you wouldn't notice.
Yeah, and it's because we just wanted to be consistent. And most people in house cleaning like want like color and it's vibrant and as it look clean. We went the whole like opposite direction.
Yeah, our website is purely black. So I definitely feel you on that being different because that's outside of the norm. They want bright.
Yeah, and I think that does help. I know it does help us attract a different like caliber of employee because they talk about it when they come in to interview. Like, oh, your
Right.
website, oh, your brand. Like, I've seen you all over social media. Um, so I really do think it makes a huge difference in that employer brand segment to attract the right fit people. So I love that.
Yeah. We're learning a lot about the right fit. So, we've been in business almost 4 years and we're learning, what exactly we're looking for also in an employee. So it's really nice that you mentioned that because it all comes around full circle.
It doesn't. I think when it comes to employees, when we first start, we just want anybody.
Right. Like,
And then as we mature, like the owner matures, we then find out things about ourselves and our leadership skills and what we want out of the business. And then that helps us pinpoint like right fit people on our team.
correct.
So in your transition, what would you say that going from prior career past to now, what's the thing that you're most proud of?
And changing, oh man. I think that not giving up and the fact that I was able to use this as a stepping stone to something more because for the longest time I hid myself. I hid from the world. I didn't want anyone to see me. And this company forced me to open up. So that I think is the thing that I'm most proud of is being able to just come outside of myself, knowing that I have something to offer the community and being able to share that with them. So my
I love
growth.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. And as many people they don't want to be the face of their company, especially a cleaning company. I met a gentleman, and I was in San Diego for a cleaning conference, and his wife started the company years ago, and he has helped for the last 10 years run the company, work in it, do sales. And then he also does stuff around town. Like he said he was a DJ and an event planner and some other things. He said, Libby, because I spoke on stage earlier that day, he goes, I want to figure out how to share the fact that we own a cleaning company. He goes, I've never told anybody that we own a cleaning company. And, I think that your business is going to stay kind of bottled up, or you're going to be the bottleneck of that business until you're proud of it. Like, how do you become proud of what you do? And it was, he said, I'm almost embarrassed or ashamed that we do that. And that he's like, that's why I don't share it. And so I love the fact that this forced you to, go the opposite way of if you were, kind of hiding, but this forced you to come out and show us who you really are.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really exciting because, I wouldn't have done this podcast prior to a year ago. My body was immediately like, no. Whenever you introduced it to me, I was like, no. And then my body said, but that means yes. So it's like, okay, let's lean into that and let's grow some more. So
that's awesome. It is. It's all about growth. And so talking about growth, and I heard you say this is a stepping stone. What do you have in mind? What is it a stepping stone to?
Well, I have ideas. That's how they start. I want to own a nonprofit one day. I'm really excited about mental health, and I think that that's probably going to be the direction that I head towards next. So I'm really looking forward to growing this company so that I can get to a place where, I'm on camera more and networking more and have the opportunity to grow a nonprofit successfully.
So, a lot of entrepreneurs, we start businesses, and there's this analogy of the third mountain, right? And the third mountain it's our why.
The Use Case Podcast is where technology vendors get to talk about themselves. And it's a wonderful place for vendors, investors, and practitioners to listen to the story of the solution, the features, the benefits, the attributes, etc. And we get to know the CEO or founder during the call, and we also get to know the tech. So subscribe to the Use Case Podcast.
It's the person that we needed in our darkest moment, the person we needed to be in our darkest moment, or the person we needed in our darkest moment. I can't remember the quote exactly, but there's the third mountain. And I think what a lot of entrepreneurs kind of get stuck in is maybe my cleaning business is just mountain one, right? It's the first mountain, because we always feel like, oh, I want to be $1 million company. You get to the top of that mountain and you're kind of like, well, I don't feel fulfilled. Like, oh, I hit that goal, but we didn't even stop to acknowledge or observe it. And then you're like, but if I get 2 million, the second mountain over there, that's 2 million. Maybe I'll feel fulfilled. Maybe I'll feel like I'm making a difference. And we get to the top of that mountain and you still kind of feel like, well, there's still something missing. And they always say it's the third mountain. It's your why. But a great thing to look at our businesses are they're the vehicles that are going to get us from mountaintop to mountaintop, because they're either going to give us the revenue, the time freedom, or the access to people, right? To help us accomplish that third mountain, to get to the third mountain. And I love your third mountain. It's super important. Question, is it relevant to any part of your life from the past?
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So typically the third mountain is the person you needed in your darkest moment.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Totally relatable to me. Yeah, I'm truly passionate about this and I want to share it with everyone. I want everyone to have wonderful mental health and just to be in a positive light, because I've gone through some dark times, and that's my driver right there.
So, what are some tips you can give us for mental health? Because being a business owner sucks sometimes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we beat ourselves up. We're hard on ourselves. We're our biggest critic. Do you just have like simple things that you do on a daily that help you get through the day?
Yeah, honestly, making I am like affirmations, that helps a lot. And then having goals.
Like I have mine right here. It's taped to my taped to the front of my computer. I can see it like right here. Yes.
Yeah, so I've always written goals. Like I've always written down everything that I needed to do and like I've crossed them off the list and all of that. But then I started writing like dreams and goals down and then I go back to them later on and I see like, oh my gosh, I really accomplished that. And that's like so uplifting and so wonderful. But another tip, let's see. So affirmations and finding somebody that you can talk to just for support. I avoided having somebody to talk to for a long time because I didn't think that I was worthy of it. And that's total bull. We're all worthy. We're all worthy. So finding some support, getting a coach is really important because growing a business is not easy, like you said. It's not easy at all. And a lot of times we'll feel alone because we're not in the same space as a lot of people around us. I mean, I think you've mentioned even before that there's really not a huge percentage of business owners, even. So, yeah, support is a huge one for me. So, get a coach.
Awesome. And you brought up a great topic. It's we see the things going on around us and having a coach really helps. And we feel that we're not worthy is a huge one, right? Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But what I find that we do is we compare like our chapter to someone else's book. And what do I mean by that? It's like I'm comparing, let's just say, oh my gosh, I didn't hit my goals, but look at Susie over here who hit all of them, but maybe that's her book. We don't know the things she did, the chapter in her life she's on. But I think one of the biggest, most dangerous things we do that's motivating and discouraging is that we compare ourselves to others too often.
Yeah. It's very detrimental, honestly.
Yeah. So I think it's just don't compare your chapter to someone else's book. I would always get so upset with, I have some business owner friends and they don't have kids and they're not married. And then I'm like, I hate you. I'm like,
Like,
because
that's
you're seeing
crazy.
them achieve things at a faster rate than you,
Yeah.
but you don't know their story.
Exactly.
And when you sit down and you look back and you're like, oh, like I have a different book, right? The chapters are going to be different in that book. So I love your third mountain. I think it's great. I think that cleaning and tidy homes have a huge, huge impact on our mental health.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree.
We use and organize it like a majority of our blogs are about how tidy homes, clean homes, right? There's a difference between tidy, clean, and organized. But how tidy homes, organized homes, affect our mental health, not just us, but in our children.
Mm.
Huge advocate. Yeah. Because with our kids, if there's chaos going on around them, like there's no way they're going to be able to focus on homework, be successful. It's very hard. We're almost setting them up to fail if we have chaos going on around in the home. It's going to affect that mental health part as they grow. And we're also teaching them our bad habits. Yeah. So that being said, with, having your cleaning company and then kind of working on that goal and you know what it is and you want to chase it, what keeps you motivated to get up every day and do this over and over and over?
It has to be my kids. Honestly, I'm doing it for them. I'm here to break generational curses, and I think that that's a really big part in it is just showing them that I'm not going to give up and I'm going to wake up and do things that I don't want to do every day.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have two. I've got a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh, and a 2-year-old. Okay. I have a 6-year-old, so somewhere close. um, I love that generational. You're going to break generational, what'd you say, curses?
Yeah.
I like that. Because my third mountain has to do with women entrepreneurs, and it comes from my past, and it comes from a past of, extreme substance abuse from my ex-husband, mental abuse, physical abuse. And, for my goal is to help my 26-year-old break that curse, because even though he is a male, he came out being susceptible to that kind of treatment. He would always pick the wrong kind of women or girls that were not the nicest to him, which it can happen both ways.
Yeah.
And so my goal is like yours, is to help him break that generational curse. Is, he had to see that his mom go through that, but there's no reason why he can't break it.
Right. Absolutely. You definitely can.
Yeah.
All
And
mindset.
it's 100% mindset. I think, with our kids, being a business owner too, is we have one of the hardest things we struggle with is we work from home, and our kids acknowledging like, hey, I'm working, but I'm here. So, but if I was at an office, I would be working, but you wouldn't see me. But because we're working from home, it's like, hey, mom, 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 mom. I'm like, ah.
Right. Yeah, that was very challenging for us the first few years. So we had some kinks to work out. Doing work in the middle of the living room wasn't necessarily key, but you got to start somewhere. So
Absolutely. So for us, that was hard. Me and Chris, we struggle with that. We finally got it like organized, but I think that was probably one of my biggest struggles going from an office to a remote setting was the kids could see us, but we weren't actually there because we were
right.
working.
Yeah. They just can't grasp that at all.
They can't. Absolutely not. So, as far as, we talked about what are you the most proud of? I love that. I love your third mountain. So, looking back, on your journey, when it comes to what you've learned, what you've went through, and what you've created, what would you have done differently?
Honestly, I probably would have not hindered myself. I self-sabotaged for a long time. And if I could go back and take that away, I would. Definitely.
So, I want to talk about self-sabotage real fast.
Sure.
This is a really, I'm trying to look up. We all have self-sabotaging traits. And me and my husband, we do a couples quarterly every quarter. And so we worked on our self-sabotaging habits. I'm trying to find them. I was going to read them to you, what mine are. And I thought it was really insightful because I think a lot of people struggle with this. And you may know what yours are, and you may not know what they are. And if you know what they are, like, you feel free to share them. But I want to read. I found it. So I have two major self-sabotaging traits, and one is self-sacrifice. Looking for the small thing in the day-to-day operation of the business or life, sticking too tightly to my commitments, overcommitting, shouldering the wrong responsibilities. That's my first self-sabotage, is the self-sacrifice. And it was all those things listed. And then the second one is self-defeating. I always say, I'm not ready. I always just say, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Those are my two, like, big self-sabotaging. And a lot of people would be surprised that, those are the ones I have because I move so fast. And so and then my husband, he went through his, but good questions to ask yourself is, how can you recognize them as soon as it happens? What can I do to overwrite them? How can I be self-aware when I'm doing it? What was I thinking the moment I self-sabotaged? what was happening in that moment and what are the things I could have told myself in that moment. And a lot of people have asked me, because I've shared these a few times, how did I come up with those? Because you may think we self-sabotage one way, but what if we're just like lying to ourselves?
Right.
Yeah. So I did an exercise with Chris. We have more questions. So I wrote mine down. He wrote what I thought his were, or what he thought mine were, and then I also wrote down his as well. And they really aligned, except for the one that I keep saying I'm not ready. I didn't write that one down because I think I was in denial about that one. Because I get a lot of opportunities, but I use, oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I'm not ready yet. Not ready yet. And the one thing that we've done to help us is that we allowed each other to call ourselves out when we do it.
I love it. I love that so much that you'll have the, the ability to do that for each other. That's great.
So when you write them down and you ask those questions, like what is slowing you down? Typically, those are the self-sabotaging things. I don't even need Chris to call them out because now when I do it, I'm kind of like, there's another one. Like, do you have any off the top of your head that maybe that you do that kind of slow you down?
Yeah, I would say things like this podcast, honestly. Just saying, I'm not ready, and just saying that out of fear, just because it's just the unknown, and that's it. So
yeah,
just
and I think,
hiding.
oh yeah, and I think a lot of women struggle with my first one, right? It's self-sacrifice. It's sticking too tightly to commitments or overcommitting or shouldering the wrong responsibilities. As a mom, we're like the PTA and the basketball team and like, sure, like I'll make everybody's lunch and dinner, and not asking for help and shouldering either the wrong responsibilities or too many. So I think this is a big one for women, but especially women entrepreneurs, because we want to be everybody's mom. Yeah. And I stick so tightly to my commitments, so tightly, which you would think is a great thing, but it's actually caused me a lot of issues. And it's funny because I will commit to something at the detriment of myself. And it comes from my past. And a lot of these self-sabotaging things come from our past. It's coming from my past, from my ex-relationship of being lied to and used for such a long time. It's just that now morally, I'm so committed if I say I'm going to do something. But I've learned to kind of loosen up and, work through them. But the exercise is great, writing them down. You're going to see them in your children once you kind of dive into it, so you can help your kids work through them. I even shared it with my employees, with our staff, because they have self-sabotaging aspects as well.
Sure.
And we got some really great feedback on like the exercise and the questions and sharing what mine were openly. So it's a great exercise you can also do with your staff and your children. Well,
Yeah,
not the 2-year-old.
Not the 2-year-old yet. Yeah, we'll save that one.
Before we wrap up, because we're coming up on 30 minutes, what advice would you give your 2-year-old now if she wants to start a business? Going through what you've went through, learning what you've done, what advice would you give your 2-year-old and your 7-year-old if they're like, Mom, I want to start a business?
Honestly, I think that I come from a very mindset that has to be perfect. Everything needs to be in order and it has to be the right way set up. Everything has to be in alignment before I can even press go. And I think that the biggest thing that I should share with them is it's okay to fail. It's okay. Just try it. If that's what you want to do, just go for it.
Awesome. Well, in business, they say there's no failing. There's only winning and learning.
I know it's just another learning opportunity.
Absolutely. 100%. So before we wrap up, do you have anything exciting, anything in the works that you want our listeners to know about?
Yeah, so we're actually in the voting for community votes right now in Lake Charles. And I'll be doing a suicide prevention course coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I'm really excited to share more about that later on. But I'll be certified and everything with that. So that's exciting.
That's great and exciting. And I mean, I think much, much needed, that I don't think really even gets talked about enough, especially in business, or just in general. You know, my 26-year-old, I'd said my older son, who was around when I went through all that abuse, really affected his mental health. And he's learned through, he doesn't want to take anything. So he does like holistic sleeping, right, eating to just stay mentally sound. But, you know, I think it's a huge, huge thing because it's always the people that never ask for help. And during COVID, unfortunately, my husband lost a handful of industry friends to suicide, because during COVID, there was a lot of relief for businesses. But my husband was an audio engineer, so he was a subcontractor. He was a 1099, and they hadn't put any, and live music completely stopped during COVID. And so all of these people, that their entire livelihood and who they were and their identity was completely stopped for 2 years. And so he lost a handful of friends to suicide during that time because they had no help or assistance in that live music industry during COVID. So I think it's an important topic, and it's touched all of us. And I love that you're certified in it. And this is going to sound so weird, but I think it goes super hand in hand with helping our employees, helping our customers, whether it's relatable to, like I said, our homes and our mindsets, and how our home can affect our mindset, and how it can kind of uplift that. So definitely love that topic. So Kristen, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Fearlessness podcast. If our listeners, if you guys want to find other episodes like this, just visit libbyd.com or thefearlessness.com. And we want to thank our sponsor, Woot Recruit, for sponsoring our podcast. And guys, that's a wrap into the heart of fearlessness. Remember that every step we take is a move towards our own strengths and courage. Keep walking through those fires, because on the other side lies a version of yourself that's unstoppable. I'm Libby, reminding you to embrace your fearlessness. Until next time, stay brave, stay bold, and keep pushing forward.